Yesterday, 4th of July 2021, our constituent gathered together in ceremony to swear to do the job they were elected by the population to do, which is to write a proposal of the new constitution. They have the time of 9 months, which could be extendable to 12 months, and once that process is done, the whole country will join a referendum, and we're gonna have to vote whether we approve this or we keep our actual constitution. To get this ceremony done, our government supply a group of police and special forces. Some extreme left righties gathered together and went over for demonstration, protest, riots, and this generates a very uncomfortable and a very big uncertain situation for all of us who were watching this, and as well for the constituents who were waiting their time to swear. Because of all this uncomfortable situation, the ceremony was postponed for 3 hours, and it was a 3 hours, so we were all waiting and waiting. Carmen Gloria Valladares is a secretary of our electoral institution, and she was chosen to lead this process. During those 3 hours waiting, many of the non-elected constituents went over to her and they behaved very rude. We all seen the embarrassing scenes over television where some of them were banging on her table, telling her to stop, telling her not to continue. And for those who wanted to get this done, felt like there was a small group of people who were definitely purposely decide to ruin this ceremony. During the ceremony, as in every other Republican ceremony, Chileans, we do sing our national song. But in this particular time, many of them start making noises, start booing, start making the situation uncomfortable, and this and some other things make this day very, very unpleasant and uncomfortable for all of us. After the 3 long hours of waiting, the ceremony started and it all went smooth. The people swore and they became legal constituent. The first assignment they had to do today was to decide who was going to be their president and their vice president, even though there are no rules written yet and nobody knows which the attributions are going to be. And the process started. They received a piece of paper and they had to write down their preference of which they would thought it will be their next president. Once the election started, it was clear for us that some of them have previous agreement on how and who to vote for. In the first round, we got the highest vote given for Elisa Loncon, but because she didn't have enough vote to become the president, they have to go for a second round. And in the second round, she finally won. When she first started giving her speech, the first words or the first few lines, and it was quite for a while, she ended up speaking on her Aboriginal language. Because even though we know we have Aboriginal people, most Chileans, and I'll say more than 95% of our people, speak Spanish and Spanish only. So most of us who were watching this from anywhere in South America weren't really understanding what was going on. After that, she gave a clear speech about the things she was expecting for this convention, and that was it. But what confused us the most was the side that the day after, which was supposed to be today, the 5th of July, the first session was going to be to make some sort of amnesty for all the people who are in prison due to the riots that we were experiencing in Chile since the 18th of October 2019. A lot of these people who are in prison, they are because they have done vandalism, stealing, and so on. And many of them have previous criminal record. So what all Chileans are asking right now is why on the first session where they were supposed to start doing their job, which was create a regulations to operate as a conventionalist, they have decided instead to make a meeting, a session, and decide What is the convention position towards releasing the people who are imprisoned due to the riots Chile experienced since October 19, 2019? I have to remind you from that time and for the few months following, we have a lot of crime situations in our city, people getting into store for stealing. We have a church burn, traffic light broken, and so many criminal acts that they will probably be negative in any other country in the world. Due to this, a few of these people are behind bars waiting for the sentence to be given. But the conventionalists who was but our constituent, which only work is to write a new constitution, decided that instead of doing their job, they want to do they want to have a position about this. This is puzzling most of us Chileans. We want them to get down to work and do what they're meant to do and not trying to interfere with cases that involve criminal court, not to interfere with our government and not to interfere with our Congress. So this is all what is being done here today, and we hope this ceremony or this process will go smooth without many interruptions. That's all for today, and I'll be sending you more news later.